Hey y'all, I want to talk about Lost in Random, The Eternal Die. I played it on Steam on PC. It's a roguelike experience, and it's sort of a sequel to the original Lost in Random game. Original Lost in Random is a 3D action sort of game. You play this character who would use this dice friend, and you would attack enemies, and we're trying to find your sister and rescue her from this evil queen. And it was a fun game. I definitely recommend people try it out. I feel like not enough people played it. I believe I even played it maybe on Game Pass at a certain point. It came out a few years ago, so it's worth checking out for sure. I had a good time with it. So I was curious how this one was gonna go because, again, I'm not a huge fan of roguelites, but I love the original game and I wanted to see what happened here. So technically this is a sequel to original game. You are playing the villain from the original game. You are playing the queen this time as the protagonist, which is really fascinating. And I will say, this game does a decent job of, if you play the first game, you're definitely gonna get more out of it. You'll understand how this character ended up in this situation. But if you never played the first game, it's fine. It doesn't punish you for it. You can just hop in, brand new into this world, and have a fun time. So I like that it was able to do that. I've only played part of the game. I haven't even technically got out of the first biome yet, but daggone it, have I tried. Again, I'm not the best at these sorts of games, but I will say, as far as roguelikes go, this was really the first one that kind of fully clicked for me, that I was really enjoying playing. I really wanted to keep playing this over and over and over and get further into it, and I think that was because compared to other ones of its type, this one I felt the most like I was progressing constantly. Even though I couldn't get out of the first area, every time I played it, the map would be random, hence the name, but it was even more random than I expected, where it wasn't just taking some of the same areas and repeating them, which it does that a little bit, but every time I played, it would throw in a new room or a new character that I didn't run into the first time I played it. And I replayed this portion a good 10 plus times already. And every single time I played, I would run into a brand new room I haven't seen before, which is crazy because, again, this is like one area and there's multiple areas later on in this game. So the fact that they would take the time to add such variety, even just to the first area, was really interesting. And as you play through, especially when you're starting out, you run into other characters that will help you later on down the road. So when you die and fail, which you will, you get transported to this hub world. And in this hub world, you have a character to help upgrade your weapons, and then you have another character that will help upgrade your stats, another character that upgrades or adds to your clothing, I should say. If you unlock more clothing, you can change your outfits there. And there's even some areas I haven't had access to yet, but like there's bridges there. I know something's over there and I'm curious to see what that is. And the game itself unlocks most of the weapons for you pretty quickly. You have 5 or 6 different weapons and you're able to access them not too far into the experience. So like right from the get-go, you're able to choose which weapon you prefer and focus on upgrading that particular weapon. I really liked the hammer, I think, the best. I felt like it was the most effective for me in terms of getting further into experience. But I did end up going back to the original sword weapon they gave me because it helps kind of refill my health a little bit and I can move it a little bit faster. But if I do level that up, I want to go back to the hammer. And as far as stats go, you can level up your health. You can level up the ability to get a second life. So if you die, you get to rejuvenate and come back to life with a little bit of extra health to give you another shot. You can extend how much health you get from defeating enemies in between battles. There's a lot of variety there, and because of that, I wanted to keep going and unlock this stuff. And as I'm going through this world, sometimes you can pick up the coins, or sometimes you have kind of the sulfur or these little like bubble things to upgrade. You keep coming across those, whether they're just there in a room or you get it from defeating enemies or chests. You find one. Sometimes you can buy them from a shop. So I felt like I was constantly able to upgrade my stuff as I was going. It seemed like the difficulty ramped up a lot once I got to the main boss. Almost as if the game was kind of forcing me to be like, yeah, you gotta really spend some time to upgrade before you get to this enemy. But the further I progressed, the easier the enemies would get. They would have a little sub-boss in there sometimes, and there'd be a map, and the map would show you kind of where the rooms were, where you already visited, what was in the room, and it gave you a rough idea of where to go, because sometimes some of the maps you could go just one direction and miss some rooms, or you can loop back. Sometimes it would create another pathway. It was just so varied, and you never know where you're gonna get into next, and that was exciting to me. The game ran good on my PC. I had no major issues or frame issues. I was hacking and slashing and moving and dashing like crazy, and it ran pretty well on this old PC. And the game looked really good. It had the same look for the original game, and they were able to adapt that into the style with this top-down viewpoint. And it was nice that they were able to keep that and have the flow of combat work really well. When you go through the game too, you sometimes get the ability to get cards. So when you start out, every time you have a room, and it'll unlock this special card, and that's what your special ability is. You could have a wind attack, kind of a push attack, a lightning attack. It's a varied every single time, and you may be able to switch it later on the further you go. But then on top of that, you can unlock these abilities in these chests. So when you beat a room, you unlock a chest. It doesn't matter what type of room it is. There's some sort of chest you can unlock, or you can get one of these sulfur or these little items you can use to upgrade. It's either or, but more likely you'll get a chest. Sometimes you'll come across a room where you can give up some health to get like a special chest. Or sometimes they'll have a little mini game room where you can roll the dice and hopefully get some health back or get another chest. It varies up the gameplay styles. There's even some rooms where you're just trying to dodge your way through to the next area and not fight enemies. So the variety there in terms of the styles of gameplay in this small space makes every experience so unique and different. And inside these chests are these little abilities, and you have basically a menu where it gives you a grid, and each ability has a certain color around it. One could be red or green. All these like abilities do different things. Some boost your attack, some boost attack with the dice, because you can also throw the dice to attack enemies as you're attacking as well. Some of them have multicolored. Some will be, oh, blue and brown on the different corners. But the idea is that the more you get of the same color, it gets you kind of a stat boost essentially. So if you have these different abilities and they're all red, you want to line them up in the same row to help increase that boost of what you're trying to get. So there's strategy there in terms of you choosing which ability you want, because when you open these chests, they usually give you 2 or 3 abilities to choose from, and so you kind of pick one that you want to go with. So you have to figure out if you want to prioritize what this current one does in the moment, or try to plan to get all the same color, and depends on which way you go, how well it's going to work out for you. So again, with this experience, there's so much happening and going on, and even though I haven't gotten past the first area, I'm excited to still continue it and play through it. And I recommend people check this out, especially if you're not that much into roguelikes. I feel like this could draw you in. But having said that, I also highly recommend playing the first game first, because you'll get some nice extra story beats and more out of it, even though it's a different type of game. The company took a risk here, you know, especially somebody like me, taking a genre I enjoyed and changing it to something else, but also continuing the story. But it seems to be paying off. It seems to be working. And I'm really curious to see where the story of this one goes, and to see if they make more in this universe, and if they're going to try other styles of games and build this up. I'm glad that this game does exist, because I wasn't sure how well the first one did or how many people really played it. So the fact that they went back to this universe is exciting to me. and I hope they continue to do so.